anybody else hops on, then that's fantastic. But today's class is April 21st, and I wanted to review real quick if you are behind on classwork or if you look at your grades and you're seeing that you're missing some work, then the things that we've done have been our very first AMI assignment, which was surrealism. We did our brainstorming, or we did our play with food thing, and then you had to take a picture of it. Morning, Madeline. And we did our Corona Mason brainstorming thing last week, and that was just due. So the first two things were due on our Sonia, and then that last thing was just a brainstorming list on Google Classroom. So that was pretty simple, and it's leading into this next part of that project. And so even though it's like one project that's 3 weeks, I mean, you could do it a lot quicker than that. But the first part was to brainstorm, the second part is to draw it out, and the third part is to add color and even more detail, just because you guys are pre-AP and I want you to have a little bit more detail in it. I sent out a form for you guys on Google or on email. If you haven't filled that out yet, go ahead and fill it out, because I asked y'all if you wanted access to any other art assignments, and if you do, then I will be emailing you those at the end of the week. So, because I have like an idea of 50 things, so that's pretty cool. Or not, but I think it's cool. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay, going back to this whole thing, again, last week your assignment was to create a list of 10 things and then either print or draw out this template for the Corona Mason, which again means Corona house, because Mason, or however you would say that in French, you would probably say it with a French accent and a completely different pronunciation, but that means house, so it's like a Corona house. So I included this link in the slideshow for you, and I shared the slideshow for you guys last week, but it'll also go live on Google Classroom at 11 o'clock. Again, so if you want to look at this website, it's showing what responses people have had to these, of all different ages, that like all different mediums, that like pretty much any person that has responded to this and hashtagged it, she's put on this website. And so it's this big collaborative web page you can scroll through. It's pretty cool to look at, and you can use that for your inspiration. So there's a little bit more kitty looking ones. There's some that are drawn digitally. That's always an option if it's something that you know how to do. This one is drawn on chalkboard, so you can take creative. I showed you last week one that was done with Lego, so you can take creative liberties in doing this in the way that you want to, as long as it has like a staircase on the left and a room. Okay. And then there's ones created by professional artists. And so what I want you to consider when you look through some of these examples is the structures of the rooms, how they added detail, how they made things look like they were going back into space. I mean, just different little things that they added. Like this person has a skylight, and then they have like a entryway up here. Their staircase is not a staircase, it's a ladder. They've put some designs on their wall over here. Their floorboards are plank instead of just like regular plain floor. Again, this was done in marker. This was done on some kind of online digital platform, and again, it's pretty simple, but it has some detail to it. This one was even done by copy and pasting with some kind of digital platform. So in whatever creative way you guys want to respond to this, you're welcome to. I really like this one because I just think she added a lot of cool elements, like this window and this wall nook. You got your chandelier, and then you have your staircase that's a little bit more unique. So there's something to be said about, instead of printing out your own template, being able to draw your own, because you're able to then add some creativity into it. And again, this one was done, I think, digitally, it looks like. And if you want to draw your room in accurate perspective, I was going to teach that on class this week, but again, for time management's sake, I want you guys to be able to explore that on your own. I've included a YouTube video that tells you a little bit more about how to do that. And so, real quick here, I'm going to go over just the different qualifications for this assignment. So number 1 is to draw and detail your ideal quarantine space. Number 2, at least 5 of the 10 things on your list you created last week need to be included. So that means that I want some of the things that you brainstormed to be included on there, at least 5 of them. But if you're thinking about adding detail, probably more than 5 things or elements would be in there. because again, I talked about last week, like a lot of these, what makes them really interesting is not that they're these crazy detailed intense drawings, but instead it's that there's lots of detail in them and lots of things to look at. Consider giving the room different qualities, windows, extra rooms, etc., etc. I'm okay with doodles, again, okay with doodles, but add detail to them. So that means like if you're on a couch, is there potato chips on the couch? Is there a cat on the couch? Is there another person on the couch? So think about different things you can add. And then draw light until you get it right, especially if you've printed out a template somehow, then you need to make sure that you're drawing correctly so you don't see a ton of eraser marks. And then you're going to be shading it or adding color or detail next week. And so that's just going to help you with that. So last week I posted a link to our Flipgrid on our Google Classroom stream. After you're finished drawing it out, I just want to see a process or a progress picture of what you have drawn out. That doesn't need to be uploaded to our Sonia really because it's a finished product. So what I would really like you to do is upload like a little video and a picture of it to our Classroom Flipgrid, and I'll give you points for doing that. So this is for points. And there's instructions on how to do that. You can do that from an app on your phone, or you can do it from your computer. The other option, if you cannot figure out Flipgrid, or if you don't have access to that app or a way to upload it via that app, is that you can upload a picture of that to Google Classroom. Okay, so those are the two options on how to turn in your progress. And the whole point is, like, I don't want to give you guys, I have to give a grade a week anyway, but I don't want to give you guys a project and then I check in after 3 weeks and people are like, what project? So this gives me like a little bit of time to like baby step people along without it being too intense. So if I have my template here, the first thing I would probably do is think about the structure of the room. Like, do I want something on the ceiling? Do I want to include a ceiling? Do I want there to be a window or a door over here? And think about perspective. So you guys are pre-AP, so y'all know a little bit more about perspective than my beginning art classes. But if this is going back in the distance, or if there's something on this wall like that, like these lines are going to be parallel with this line and this line. So again, watch that video if you're kind of confused about that concept, but try to make it look like it's going back in the distance. And then the next thing I might say is, okay, like what furniture is in my room? So consider it in a way where you're like, you have an empty room and you're kind of designing it, right? And so then it would be furniture, and then maybe it would be detailed things in there. And so that's kind of how I would tackle it if I were doing it. And again, like I want to be able to see, like if I'm seeing like Colin's versus Madeline's versus Josie's, like I should probably be able to tell who's a Sue's based on the things that are in it, because I know you guys. And I think that the more of yourself you can put in there, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this record.